Hello, rockers and Mercuryans. One of the biggest questions that I always get asked while I'm live eating my food is, why did you go alkaline? Or why do you eat in the alkaline diet or eating plan? And I'm going to explain that right here on this video, on my YouTube video, or wherever you are watching this. So there's a few reasons why I've chosen to go with Dr. Sebi's alkaline eating plan, nutritional guide, healing regimen. I can call all these types of things. And it starts off with me getting very sick. I'm talking about deathly ill, deathly ill, heading towards the grave, to be honest. And the doctors are giving up on me and everything. And I was looking up online how to cure what I was sick with. You know, what do I do? Like, how do I get better? Like, it had gotten so bad. I was married to somebody who was very promiscuous and had given me something that would have been okay if I caught it early, but because I caught it so late, the sickness got worse and worse. And so by the time I caught it, it was just the medicine that the Western medicine had given me made things actually worse. They gave me a shot that was so painful, and felt like metal going into my leg. It was insanity. And they even told me that they think that they caught it too late. They don't know what I can do. And the reason I'm alive right now is because of the alkaline eating. Now, I didn't even know what alkaline eating was before I got sick. So that's one of the amazing things about how the universe works, or God, or whatever you want to call it, how it works. Because even the worst things can be something that's helpful not only for you, but for the people around you. Because me eating alkaline, me eating healthier has not only helped me, but helped my family to wake up to a lot of things that we're just not taught in Western medicine, and also just in the Western diet structure, like the food pyramid that's completely corrupted by the dairy and sugar and meat industries, that tell us what the balanced meal looks like, yet also while also telling us that so many Americans are chronically sick, or on so many medications just to stay alive. And so when I was faced with literally mortality, literally gonna pass away, I started researching, and I found this man named Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi, who is not a doctor, and I'm not a doctor either, by the way. I'm not a doctor. I'm just expressing my experience and why I've chosen the alkaline lifestyle. So once I read about Dr. Sebi, learned about him on YouTube. Thank you so much to YouTube. Oh my goodness. Read and learned on YouTube about different cases that he had won in New York when they were trying to imprison him for false practice, saying that he was illegally saying that he can heal these different types of diseases, and that was practicing as a doctor without a license, something like that. That they were trying to take him down. The New York court was trying to take him down, and he won the case because he had so much overwhelming evidence that he had cured these diseases legally, had cured them. And he's the first person that I know of that, as so far as my research goes, the first person who's won a case like that in court that has actually cured people of really terrible, deadly diseases. And I don't really want to go into those exact diseases in this video, because then people can be like, oh, you're making claims, and I'll be in the same situation as he is, being sued. But I believed it. Once I saw it, I was very like, wait a minute, that's deep. Like, I know how the court system works, and unless you can really prove it, it's going to be really hard to get out of these situations. So he had, I believe, hundreds of people come out and express that he had healed them, and he was let free. He was set free. He later on passed away. By the time I was sick, he had already passed away. But he had later on passed away. I believe he was taken out because in Honduras over money laundering, which I do not believe was true at all. I believe they set him up because he was healing too many people, which is something that the medical industry doesn't really want people to do, because it's something that takes money away from them. It breaks, if you can heal yourself, then why do you have to pay $100 for a pill to keep you alive, or for different procedures that are more damaging than helpful if you really look at the bigger picture of things. And so he had a different way of coming about things. And even in his videos, if you watch Dr. Sebi's videos, which a lot of them have been scrubbed off the internet and off of YouTube for that same reason of people like the Western medicine industry and big pharma not wanting that information to be so readily available. Even when it comes to like people like Nipsey Hussle, who passed away right while he was doing a documentary on Dr. Sebi. Very interesting how that worked, how that happened. And then it got passed down to Nick Cannon, who says that he was going to put out the Dr. Sebi documentary. He still hasn't done it. It's been how many years? A lot of corruption going on when it comes to the healing practices that he preached about and told and educated us about. It wasn't like a preaching like, oh, and God will save you and this will save you. It was never that. He gave you the he gave me, at least when I was researching it, he gave me the understanding of nutrition in a scientific way, because his brain is analytical. He had worked as an engineer, and also he was interested in music as well. He was interested in being a musician before this. And so it was like this, the artist of him mixed with the engineer in him, mixed with the healing knowledge that he had to learn for his own self, because he was deathly sick at one point as well. I believe he was pre-diabetic and, losing his mind and all types of things before he started going deeper into the healing practices of alkaline living and electric food eating, with his wife at the time, Ma'a, who's still alive to this day, still practicing with Fig Tree Bioelectric in New York. And also there's Usha, his daughter Usha, who's also healing people as well. Usha, from the Usha Village, with Usha Village is named after. And also, some of y'all may know him from, Lisa Left Eye Lopez, who he's healed. And she actually passed away out there in Honduras due a mysterious car crash that's a whole nother video, but like very disturbing kind of things. Whenever people are trying to share this information, they seem to end up passing away. So if something happens to me, I am not suicidal, y'all. Like, I'm very happy to be alive, trying to strive to be alive. So don't let nobody tell you nothing if something happens to me. Like, shoot, they got me. They done got me. I don't want to get got, but if they get me, they get me. Hopefully they don't, though. Anyway, Michael Jackson is somebody who he lived with and helped to heal. Michael Jackson actually wanted Dr. Sebi to live with them permanently or travel with them to be healing him. And so all these names, and Magic Johnson wouldn't be alive, and if in my opinion, he wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for Dr. Sebi. Also, Michael Jackson had a son, has his only real biological son. His name is Omar, I believe. He had a huge tumor on his forehead, and Dr. Sebi has been known to heal him and help him to cough that tumor out of his head. Like, it's crazy, like it dislodged. He's able to dislodge the tumor and get it out of his system, along with Wendy Williams' son, there's just so many, cases, and these are just the famous people, but there's so many cases because he was for the people. He wanted us to know, like, a lot of this information he put out there for free. And I want to give you just a little forewarning. When you're looking up stuff for Dr. Sebi, there's a lot of frauds out there. There's a lot of people who were associated with him or pretend to be associated with Dr. Sebi who are not really of the heart of Dr. Sebi and of the honesty, and are selling snake oil, basically, like fake products, fake herbs, all these types of things. So be careful. Be very, very careful who you purchase from or what you do when it comes to getting your alkaline material. Hold on one second. Let me check the camera. Make sure we're good. Yeah, we are still good. I gotta check. And so be very careful who you purchase your products from when it comes to following Dr. Sebi's, plan and stuff like that. The one person I do believe is, there's three people that I believe are super trustworthy when it comes to directly linked to him. Number one, Victor Bowman, his youngest son. Victor Bowman is such a kind being. Actually gave me so many herbs himself for free, which I didn't even know. I was trying to pay for them. He brought them to my house, gave them to me for free. Such a kind, real person. I hate to say the word kind, because sometimes you think kind, you think weakness, but he is such a kind-hearted person, but also very real. He's not going to sugarcoat anything. The same way Dr. Sebi, when he was speaking, if you watch his older videos, he was keeping it so real that it ruffled a lot of feathers. People who were selling snake oil at the time, selling you fake dreams and fake cures and remedies that actually caused more harm. So he was very honest about what worked and what didn't work. So I feel like his son, Victor Bowman, is somebody who really follows along really follows along in his father's footsteps more than anyone. I don't think there's a person on earth that followed the footsteps more than Victor Bowman. He has a company called Bolingo Balance. So you search up Bolingo Balance, Bolingo Balance. Do I have a product right here? I'm sure I have something. It's not ready. It's something near. It's something in my room, I'm sure, but I can't grab it right now. The Bolingo Balance, and also Afro Biominerals. Afro Biominerals is another company he has, or another social media page he has as well. He operates out of Los Angeles and Newark in New York, which is also where his father operated as well. They're from Honduras, and he actually was raised in Honduras and came out here. So that's a whole different situation. So then also Ma'a, who's his first wife, I believe, or I believe the first wife, but definitely one of the main wives that helped him to formulate this electric eating alkaline type of practice to heal the body. So Ma'a, M-A-A, she's such a sweet, kind, and beautiful soul. And then Usha, who's Ma'a's daughter, Usha, which is Usha's village, named after Usha village is named after his daughter Usha. I would definitely follow her path as well. She's even honest about some places where she stumbled from the grief of losing her father. She stumbled in her health in certain ways, but she's so real about that, and she still is healing people to this day, healing people, even though she's going through her own struggles. And so W to all of them, all three of those. There may be other ones in the family, but it gets very sketchy. I do know one person to look out for is Miss Dr. Sebi. Miss Dr. Sebi, scammer, in my opinion. In my opinion, she's a scammer. She is not of that spirit. He was actually trying to run away from her at the end of his life. He felt like she was trying to set him up, and was a pretty woman, but not of the actual healing. And she's been known to sell fake products to people. So be very careful of Miss Dr. Sebi, that a wife who actually is so dark, but Ma'a, his first wife, was actually watching was actually with him when he got with Miss Dr. Sebi, and kind of had an affair on her. So it's what it is. Anyway, that's what she said. She was basically having an affair, and even after the affair, and they had kids, Dr. Sebi and Miss Dr. Sebi, as she calls herself. They had kids together. And Ma'a is such a pure, beautiful-hearted person that she even watched those kids and considers those kids close to her own heart, and still loves them to this day. So she didn't have any malice inside of her, even though her man had went astray. But to be real, Dr. Sebi had a lot of kids, and he was out there in these streets. So let's just be real on that. But hey, he was a healer. He was a loving person. So I don't want that to diminish the power of his healing words. That's super important, not to diminish that. Okay, so along that line, I kind of went around just to tell you who this figure is that I started researching to find out how to heal my body and not die, because I was on death's door at that point. And I started listening to him explain how certain foods were like Frankenstein foods. Certain foods were designed in laboratories, and Monsanto and things like that. Like people like this, they were not the pure original seed and didn't have the original nutrition that we needed, and that our bodies have a certain acid level that we're supposed to stay at, like an alkalinity we're supposed to stay at, which I believe is like 7 pH or something like that, like 7 pH around. And basically, we're not supposed to be having acidic foods that break down our body. We're supposed to have alkaline foods that build us up and give us the nourishment and iron that we need. Iron is super important in what he was always preaching or teaching about, that our body is lacking so much iron because our soils are so deprived of the minerals that our body is comprised of. So one of the main things I first heard about was sea moss, which a lot of people think it starts and ends there, which it doesn't. Sea moss isn't the only thing that you would want to adopt in your diet if you're trying to gain some type of healing. It is a very important thing that can be very helpful to your digestive and as well as your mineral health. But there's other things as well, other herbs that are super helpful and very cleansing for the blood, depending on what you're dealing with in your current state of health. And so the first thing I was hearing about sea moss, I was hearing about the different vegetables and how lemons aren't good for you, but key limes are amazing for you. They have seeds and they have a lot of magnesium in them, and they're very cleansing for the blood. And how bananas aren't good for you because they're hybridized and come from different farms and stuff that have been chemicalized during different civil wars and or not civil war attack. What do you call it? Bio attacks and things that have attacked certain islands that produce our bananas. Hearing about those things, but hearing that baby bananas and burro bananas were super healthy for us and can produce health. And then also there's certain plants and foods that may be genetically modified but still have some benefits that are helpful for the body, like chickpeas, which aren't technically like natural, but they are still healthy, and it's still the only healthy bean on the list. The only healthy bean. And how tomatoes are genetically modified. But then also like there's cherry tomatoes that are healthy for you, and then quinoa, not completely natural, but it has a lot of healing benefits as a grain that's easily digestible, unlike rice or corn or things like that. Or potatoes super, like, maybe a plant but not healthy for you, has a lot of starch, and these starches, as he explained, these starches build up in the body and create more disease. It fuels the different bioorganisms in our body that are harmful, and gives them more ability to attack more and to build and develop more colonies of these microorganisms. Some of them I'm dealing with today, as I'm still like fighting to keep my health, above a certain mark, just to keep my health improving. I'm constantly fighting against some of those bioorganisms. So even some of the things on the list, like avocados, may be alkaline technically, but they may not be helpful for somebody who's dealing with certain infections, certain internal micro infections, microorganism infections, and things like that. There are certain things that people with diabetes shouldn't be eating. There's different things. Like even on the list, there's like other lists within the list of what's going to help you through your current situation. But then as you get to a prime state of alkalinity and your body's healthy, you're not really fighting anything, then pretty much the whole list of alkaline foods, or Dr. Sebi's approved nutritional guide, that becomes open to you. There's so many types of different things. Like sarsaparilla is an amazing herb that's used for cleansing the blood. There is gadava. Oh my God, I'm not even gonna try to say all these words. Some of these words are so like confusing because they're not from, like, we don't learn about these in America. But the list is out there, readily available. You can go search it on. You can search it. Make sure you search a few places to make sure you get the right list, because sometimes there's some fake lists out there as well. But that list is very readily available of all different types of spices and foods to eat, and different berries. Not even all berries are created equal. Like we're over here eating seedless watermelon as if somehow we're getting some benefit. Oh, we don't have any seeds in it. Like, no, we need the seeds in the watermelon. The seeds in the watermelon have magnesium as well, and other minerals that we need. Those are the real foods. But they're trying to teach us and tell us that we need these seedless foods because they're more convenient for us. But yet they are taking away food. Like, there's some foods that literally, like a sponge, absorb the nutrients from your body and leave you more and more deprived. So I didn't know these things. I was just fighting for my life, not realizing how I was thinking I was eating healthy, because at that time, I didn't even say this, but I was vegetarian and vegan. At the time I got sick, I was actually vegan. And so I was like, it was like, wait, what am I, like, I thought I'm already eating healthy. But as a vegan, I was eating all kind of processed foods. I was eating a lot of wheat, and wheat has a lot of processes to it and a lot of starch that break down the body. I wasn't having spelt flour and chickpea flour or teff flour. Like, those are the things that are healthy. Those are the more healthier grains. But even with those grains could be considered not healthy if you're dealing with certain diseases or different ailments as well. So it really is a balance of figuring out what is going on with your body in that moment, and what can you fuel, how can you fuel your body, or how can you use these foods as medicine. So as I started to learn more and more about the list and following it, honestly not even following it perfectly. Like even today in the last few days, I haven't been following it perfectly. I've been kind of falling off. Usually I'm very strict on it. I try to stay very strict to my eating plan. Sometimes I fall off because of the availability in America. Sometimes it's like you're running, you just fall off and you're not prepared. Like I didn't prep ahead of time. Like it's never that I crave the other things, like I need them. It's more about availability for me. Like I love the foods. The alkaline foods are delicious. You can make so many amazing things. Yes, some of the things are pricey depending on what you're wanting to eat. But you can always find a cheaper way to make those things and still be more alkaline friendly. But for me, it's because I live with my family, which I love, and sometimes there's other things that I have a hard time fighting those temptations, and eating certain things that aren't on the list. And I feel it. Like even today, I feel my body not in alignment, not alkalinized. I feel the acidity in my body, and I want to go back and I just had some tea before this video, and I have like my coconut oil, like cold pressed coconut oil right here. Different things that are really like healthy, and like I have my ground oregano oil or black walnut whole, which is something that is really helpful for cleansing the blood and things like that. So it's very there's a balance to it all. Like you start learning about things you never heard about. Soursop leaves and how helpful that is to help to radical cells in the body that you need to balance out, that need healing. You're talking about intercellular cleansing. The body has a lot of waste that doesn't know what to do with due to processed sugars. Like cutting the sugars out, that was a huge thing too. I was eating sugars even as a vegan, and that's something that can directly fuel a lot of these sicknesses and diseases. So cutting those sugars and switching them to agave sugar or date sugar, which is number one. That's a supreme sugar, I believe. The date sugar, or super organic, slow drip maple syrup, things like that. Like those are what you would want to replace certain things in your diet. So it's not like you're getting rid of it. Like, oh, I can't have nothing sweet ever again, or I can't have nothing savory or delicious, and oh, I can't have any nuts. The main nuts are walnuts and Brazil nuts. Those are the nuts that are the more real nuts. So like peanuts and cashews and all these other things that are out there, like I think macadamia, and even like a lot of nuts you can't eat, they aren't on the list. Those things can produce like an issue with your digestive system, a big issue, like break down your digestive system, according to him. But then also something that people don't really talk about often when it comes to an alkaline eating plan or alkaline living is that depending on where your culture is, like he was a black man, Dr. Sebi, but he's a black man from Honduras. So his background is more fruits and veggies, like lots of fruits, veggie. That's the base of what his diet is supposed to be based on his ancestry. But there's certain people who are from Iceland, Antarctica, or whatever, or like it's a different country, like different in Europe, different places in Europe where what their ancestors had and what their great grandfathers and everything, and what they were raised with, the foods that are native to that area may not be the same foods that he has on his plan. So we have to realize that too. So I know that people watch my videos of all different races, and so we have to understand that we have to dive into where we're from and what foods promoted health from where we're from. In China, there's different herbs and things that are really helpful for them because that's where their culture is. That's where they've lived for thousands of years, or whatever you believe. However, history has gone, depending on how long you think humanity has been in certain regions. Certain foods help them more than it would help us. It's depending on which culture, and he explained that. And that's why some people think like, oh, he's a fraud, whatever. They say crazy things about him because they're not hearing the full picture. He's not saying that this alkaline nutritional guide is for everybody. It's for people who are of his background or similar to his background, of his ethnic background. And depending on where you're from, it may shift in some ways. But I do believe that for like a lot of us can really benefit from a lot of these fruits and having like the proper things that aren't genetically modified. But there's some people who are going to have fish. Fish are going to be in their diet, or bison. I know bison is one of the things that or bison milk at least. I'm not really sure exactly on the bison meat. It's been hard for me to find that because, like I said, he passed away. So before a lot of the teachings could be documented as well as it could be, I believe. But I know his son has said that bison cheese is something that he feels is alkaline, and also rattlesnake They use dried rattlesnake. I'm pretty sure maybe you can use regular rattlesnake too. I don't know. But I'm still learning each day. Like I'm just explaining how I got to this point, and I would not be alive if it wasn't for that. And I honestly like the fact that I still stumble sometimes and go off of my diet is proof of how addicting food can be, how addicting the Western diet can be. Of knowing that I can be knocking on death's door again. Like just because I'm healthier now doesn't mean I fully handle what I was dealing with. And because of that, it's like I should be strict on it. I should never even touch anything outside that diet. But like I said, these foods are addictive, so you got to give yourself grace and kindness. If you do decide to go down this road, you're relearning what you learned from a child, thinking of what's good or what's bad. You know what foods are good and healthy for you, and what foods are literally destroying our bodies. And from a bio cellular standpoint, like literally like acidically breaking down our bodies. And something that he said that really hit me to the heart that Dr. Sebi said is watch what you eat, or what you eat will eat you. Watch what you eat, or what you eat will eat you. Literally, like literally, like think about that. Certain of these foods, what happens in acid? You know, when you see those crazy movies, they're like, oh, we're gonna get him, we're gonna body him, and we're gonna throw him in a lake of acid or a bin of acid to get rid of the evidence. Acid breaks things down. Even our stomach acids break things down. You know, when they say that, it's like you imagine like a body dissolving in acid, like based on like these these crime scene movies and things that we watch on TV. These are acidic foods. Like we're doing that at a smaller dose inside our bodies, breaking down our cellular construction, our cellular structure. And we have to recognize that when we eat each thing we eat, especially the timing of when we eat things. Our digestive system gets really slow at nighttime. So if you're eating certain heavy things that are really acidic at night, that may cause more damage than if you were eating in the daytime and you're going to be moving around and burning off energy. So I think it's super important to recognize that and recognize how much food and how much hydration that we really need. And also a huge thing in the alkaline eating that was super healing and helpful for me, like one of the best things that actually helped me to heal and get to a space where I feel myself progressing every day. And this has been years. Like I've been on this for, at least 4 years, maybe longer. Like I got stricter and stricter as time went. But before then, I was a vegetarian and vegan for like over 10 years. So this has been a long time of me on this journey. Because when I thought I was healthy, eating all these processed foods, whatever. But a big thing in that realm of your journey and learning of what's going to actually heal you is cutting back from eating so much. Cutting like this fasting. Having your tea, like having herbal tea fast, giving your body and your digestive system a chance to rest, a chance to heal. The amazing thing about our bodies, one of the amazing things about our bodies, is that when there's nothing for the body to digest, the body starts eating itself. And it starts with the bad cells. It starts with anything that's something that's foreign. It starts to break that apart and convert it to fuel. And so the body wants to heal. The body wants to live, and some of these foods affect our mind. Like he was saying that before, Dr. Sebi had went down that realm of, getting health and taking his health into his own hands and going to the earth and the herbs, which he learned from a man in Mexico. He said he learned from a man in Mexico who taught him how this healing even worked, and how to go back to your ancestors and heal your body. And he said that one of the biggest things when you're doing that, when you're going down that road of healing, is to cut everything out. To cut everything out for a moment, like to let your body sit with itself, to let it reorganize. So your body wants to live. We want to keep striving. We don't want to die. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here right now. Even from the beginning of the sperm and the egg, we ran to the egg and we fertilized. Like, we want to live, we want to exist. And so trusting in your body to find and to feel, like to start to feel where your body really is, where your body really, what your body really desires, what kind of compounds, what are you feeling that could, you start seeing your body as a puzzle. Sometimes there's missing pieces of the puzzle. Certain foods are gonna be able to fit that exact spot where the puzzle, is missing a spot. Like you're able to plug it in. You'll know it. You start to feel feel where your body's at any given moment and figure out what you need. Maybe it's rest sometimes. You gotta rest yourself. You got to be in a space where you're not constantly thinking about the external. Some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't, like, I'm gonna be too skinny, or I'm gonna look like this, I'm gonna lose my muscle mass. I've thought that too before. But you have to think about like what your body needs to survive. And so sometimes all that extra mass that you're trying to keep can be different hiding spots for sickness and disease. So maybe you have to cut down and cut back for a second just to get your body back to that space of optimal health and prime health. So these are just a few of the things that I want to share with you guys about the healing journey when it comes to alkaline eating. And I believe it is the best, in my personal opinion. There's nothing even comparable to it. I know there's a lot of plans out there. You can be vegan, vegetarian, keto, raw, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, when it comes to raw, like, these foods don't have to be raw. You can eat them. You can eat them cooked. Like, there's certain things like that are even better and unlock even more nutrients when it's cooked. So it's like, there is a balance to this all. And I suggest you research and dive deep into the different things that we're consuming that can improve your life, you know? So I know people want me to do videos of me cooking different things, and I have done some of those. I'm not a chef. I just want to share with you guys my this experience in this journey. But there are some amazing people out there on social media that make amazing alkaline food. Electric Eats is one of my favorite. There's also Electric Tribe. There's Alkaline Living. There's, oh my God, there's so many. Oh my God, there's so many. My brain is like shutting down. But if you just search in alkaline eating and start to look towards the vibe of each page and make sure that they're like on the right vibe of healthy foods and they're looking great and they have great energy about them, I tell you what, like, the mentality, like, the different foods you eat, you'll feel differently. Your brain will function differently. Our brains are made out of the foods we eat, and every compound we have can adjust how we see the world. You know, I remember feeling more depressed before I was eating as healthy. I remember feeling just more groggy and, you know, weakened before I was eating the foods that I'm eating now. And the electric food, the foods that are still, you know, that have the electricity within them. You know, even if they're cooked. I know some people think that it has to be raw food or raw veggies or whatever to be electric, but you can have cooked foods that still have the compounds that make them electric, you know. So just look into it and see what's right for you. I love sharing my journey. Then maybe sometimes I do share some recipes or something, but like I said, I'm not a chef. I love music. I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I work in real estate, so this is not coming from a space of like, oh, I'm a doctor or nothing. No, I'm not. I'm here sharing with you that I would not be alive today, according to Western medicine, if it wasn't for Dr. Sebi's and the alkaline eating and electric food eating plans, which I haven't even committed to fully, but I have done it extreme. There's been times in my life where I've really committed, and I'm trying to make it permanent to where I'm only on that. And for the most part, I do well at that. But like I said, just it's availability. When you stumble, just get back up and remember that you can keep on plugging in those electric foods into your diet. Even if you fall off and you find yourself in the McDonald's line, which I don't suggest McDonald's in any way or any kind of fast food. But if you end up stumbling in that kind of way, you can always hop right back on for your next meal. Or even that meal. You can even, after you eat it, you can go have some tea and try to like cleanse yourself from that. You know, whatever. Like, do what you have to do to stay on track, you know. And also, coffee is not alkaline. It's very acidic. I know a lot of people drink coffee every day in the morning. They have major stomach issues, and they're wondering like, oh, I'm eating healthy. Like, why am I so sick? You know, like, there's certain things. Like, I used to think coffee was healthy, but when you start realizing like the acidity level is so high that it's breaking down your soft tissue in your body, you kind of have to make a shift if you want to get away from some of the pains you're feeling, or some of the swelling, or some of the blood flow issues you may be experiencing. So I just wanted to share this with you because it's literally probably the number one question I get on my page is, what's alkaline eating and what's this? And maybe still be confused right now, but I hope I gave you enough names of people and enough information for you to do your research. And of course, if you message me, I'll probably respond to it about it. Like, I'm not a doctor, like I said. Like, I'll just probably keep sending you to people who know more than I do. But the person who really knows, like, if I was dying, or if some of my family member was about to pass away, the main place I would send them is to Victor Bowman. Victor Bowman of Bilingual Balance. That is Dr. Sebi's son, his last living son. Not last, sorry, the youngest son, because he has other sons who are living, but I mean, he's the last one he had before he died, of course. And so, yeah, like, shout out to Dr. Sebi. Thank you so much to him. I owe my life to him, honestly, and I said that to his son, and I'm so grateful that his son has that heart, and that it didn't die with him. It didn't die with Dr. Sebi, who was an amazing, kind man, who was a blessing to this earth. And yeah, of course they took him out. Of course they took him out. Come on, like if this information was massively available, imagine how much money the pharmaceutical industry would be losing every single day. Like I don't even have a doctor. I don't trust the doctor. I don't go to them. I don't take any medication at all. Personally, this is my personal. And I'm thriving. I mean, yeah, there's still things I'm struggling with, but like the doctors told me I was gonna die. So compared to dying, it's been over 4 years, and I'm feeling healthier and healthier each day, and I'm getting better and better. And so I'm just trying to be real about, this journey that you could be taking if you go back to Mother Earth for healing. So that's what it is. That's what it's all about. It's really like the word alkaline seems so foreign, but it's actually the oldest thing that we know. Our bodies know it. Once you start eating these foods and drinking these teas, your body's gonna recognize it. It's gonna see it as family. That's for me at least. It felt like family. It felt like this is what I was supposed to be eating, and my digestive issues went away right away. It was so crazy. I'm like, oh my God, why am I eating? And it's weird, like the second, like even right now, I'm feeling like a little itchy right now because I'm eating things I shouldn't be eating. Like I had some pumpkin pie, which I shouldn't be eating that. What the heck am I doing? I had turkey sandwiches. Like I've been eating a little bit wrong the last few days. But most of this month and most of this year, I've been eating super strict on the alkaline eating. Like it's just been recently that I've been feeling a little off mentally and spiritually. And so but my goal is always back on track to alkaline. I know that's the best way of eating. I know I feel my absolute best. I know that I'm poisoning myself. Even as I eat the other foods that are off the plan, I feel myself poisoning myself. I feel it and I know it. And I even speak to my community about that. I said, I'm messing up my diet again. This is not right. Being real with y'all that even though I know better, because of the addiction of this American diet and Western food philosophy or whatever, like we can still stumble. So, all right, you guys, I hope this video's still going okay. Hold on. Okay. Some weird sign on there. Hopefully that was all good. But all right, rock on, Mercuryans. I hope you guys have a beautiful day or whatever you're doing right now. I'm gonna end this video, but yeah, just search for healing from the earth. Go back to Mother Earth for healing. That's all I gotta say on that. Rock on, Mercuryans. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Alkaline living. Thank you, Dr. Sebi. We love you.